Bonjour and hello. Welcome to this online global conference. How can we be spiritually creative? I'm Lauren Rose Evening Song, your hostess in Paris, France. During this online conference, we will discuss the creative process from a uniquely spiritual point of view. Among the guest speakers that I have chosen are authors and writers, visual artists, singers and musicians, shamans, even astrologers, and creativity coaches. Together from around the globe, we will endeavor to explore the question, how can we be spiritually creative? So, pleased to begin. I will speak today with Alessandra Giglioli. Bienvenue and welcome, Alessandra. Alessandra is a galactic shaman. She paints star beings, dragons, fairies, and unicorns that come to her in visions. These ancient mystical beings want to come back into our lives and be seen once again as the masters and teachers for our soul direction. Alessandra has published, written, and illustrated 2 oracle decks, selling in over 34 countries. She channels the drawings of people's galactic guides. She has published 2 books, co-authored 3 books, and has articles in several journals. She lives in Italy, near Rome, where she leads retreats at sacred sites, revealing ancient history of local oracular priestesses. Her topic for today is how our galactic soul guides us into completing art while putting it into 3D reality. Alessandra, how do we catch the pure stream of soul's creation?
Okay, well, that's a huge question. Um, Let me think, how is this going to be answered? First of all, thank you and hello, everybody. I am in Rome, Italy, south part of it, and you are, did you say you're close to Paris? No. Yeah, Paris, Paris, Paris. All right, so 2 powerhouses. So hello and thank you, thank you. All right, so can you ask that question again? I know we were ready and I'm ready, but I want to hear what's the answer, what's answers coming through now. So what's the question again?
All right. How do we catch the pure stream of
Mhm.
soul's creation?
Okay, so that's a really good question. I had to do a whole master's program to filter through and figure that out. Because with my story, and I think with a lot of us artists, I think there's a lot of art that we do. And without any filtering or anything, I can say that a lot of us can create some emo art or vomit art or something that has its purpose. And it is channeling muck coming out of us that can be helpful for us to see shadow, so that it helps us trigger out our own shadow. One big example that I can give is if anybody's into art history and Italian history, you can look at Caravaggio's art and say, darn, that's dark, baby, that's dark. And you know what? It can help move something within us, maybe on a subconscious level. So when I started painting a lot, and I was 14, 15 years old, I won some prizes in my school. And the art that I was creating, in hindsight, was pretty creepy. And I thought, well, that first of all, it's interesting that I won prizes for it. Well, at that time, people were copying pictures. If you're a student, you're looking at a photo and you paint the flower. Well, what I was doing was, listen to this. I had my 4-year-old sister. I took a photograph of her. I don't know. I'll explain what I was doing later, but I posed little dolls. Don't know. And they yeah, and to talk about creepy. It all has a point. So I had these creepy little dolls dancing animated around her. Okay? So the painting that I won a prize for was, there was this, my little sweet little 4-year-old sister, and she was posing, and I had taken photos of her, and she was sort of like, you know, like this, and I painted these dolls dancing around her. So my intention when I was a 14, 15, and 16-year-old doing that painting was, my purity was, oh, my little sister, I love children, I want to paint. For me, the theme was innocence, and I always was obsessed with the idea of the animism, essentially, that everything has a life. And I thought, how cool, dolls coming to life at nighttime. And so I drew it. But then as the painting was coming, and essentially I believe artists were always channeling, but what are we channeling? What strands are we channeling? So I must have been channeling some icky stuff, but it came from a pure point of me, because it was very dark, and I had in the background, I had done deep curtains. And so you look at this picture, and I should have shown it, I don't have it, of this sweet little girl with creepy dolls dancing around her. So years later, I become an adult, and I look back at that and I say, what on earth was going on? I had no intention of doing a thriller or horror movie, or of creating creepy art. I literally was coming from a pure place. So then I realized, I said, well, I was channeling stuff. It's emo and vomit. And I thought, how, as an artist, do you consciously get past that? And so one of the ways is I even started containing an emo journal, which is so satisfying, because I would literally draw pictures or cartoons of me vomiting or throwing things out or stepping in poop. And so you literally got it out of you, or you just draw all black, or you don't care how you're drawing as an artist, and it got it out. But I went through a whole beautiful master's program, because in the Masters of Art program, it's saying, why are you doing art? What's the purpose of art? What is your theme? And so that's when I began to channel more and say, okay, the emo art can come out at other times, but my intention is to channel, and to channel purity. And at that time of my master's program, I don't have an example here now, but I was creating dolls made out of cloth, and they were little chubby, cute fairies. And I started creating different ones for different friends. And that was channeling, and it was pure, because the intention is, I'm making a gift for a friend. It is art. And I want my friend to be happy, and I want it to uplift her. So I had all of those clear intentions, and I was much more powerful and clear in my intention as an adult self rather than my child self. So to come back to the answer was, I had to work and train myself to catch that stream, to stay in that stream, and to create non-emo vomit art, which has its purpose. So that's one answer to your question.
Wow. Oh, that was amazing. Okay, so I'm going to ask you another question, and then it's a bit different. How do you stay connected to your soul, your guides, and your creative source? What do you do to stay in that stream of purity?
So I can give you two examples. So I have to move over here, and hopefully I don't knock over my art. So here's some examples. So
Oh no, you disappeared again. There you are.
So this is an example of unfinished art, because I'm doing it for myself, and I'm not that important. I'm just me. And so staying connected to a higher stream for myself is very hard. And what I found out, though, is that when I started doing art and it was for a client, and I had to tune into the stream of the client, channel the client's higher guides or different aspects, then I would complete the art. And so that is finished art. So there's a few messages there. It is easier for me to complete something if I'm completely dialed in, and also if it's not for me. So it's really hard. I have lots of unfinished projects that are for me, but if it's for someone, then I ended up doing I don't remember, there's at least 24 finished art pieces that then I was tuning into the galactic guides of different people, and I met a lot of different guides, and then I had these finished art pieces that then became an oracle card deck. So that's just an example of saying, and there might be many messages there, and there's many ways of reaching something. This was my way. My way is do it for someone else, and get paid, and then you will finish. But what I'm saying is the technique was, it was easier for me to tap into a stream of another person, their higher self, because you have less distractions for you. So then you got to learn, how do you honor yourself more?
So this goes along with completing your projects. Um, but how do you go about the spiritual aspect of tapping in? What is your process for your spiritual process?
Okay, so then now it has to get personal, because I have finished personal projects that were for no one but me. And yes and no. So then I have the example of, I wrote a book and I was so excited, and here's the hard copy of the book. And this is definitely for me. And it has a channeled fairy message, and it's this, and I just had to do it. I had to write a book. I had to say, I'm going to sit down and I'm writing a book. And this is an example where I cared for myself. I said, I'm going to sit down at a coffee shop, dedicated, I don't know, went 3 times a week to a coffee shop. It was my time. I did it. But it was a two-way street. It's like, but I want to make people feel better. And I have a way, and we all have a way of doing it. So I said, but again, it was sort of really more for me. I want to write a book. I want to be an author. I want to share. And so then I tapped into a frequency. I don't know, I believe in so many different guides. There were many different guides. I have to say, did I say here? There's definitely the fairies. So remember, where's the picture? There were the fairies that I made as dolls. Where are they? That then came in as images. They are the ones. I'm going to find a picture. Just one moment, is they're hiding. Where are you, fairies? I don't know if you can see this image, but these are the fairies that I made as dolls, and they are called the Ghiblies. And they were so cute, because this book was not what I intended it to be. I sat down writing, saying, I want to be an author. I want to share my word with the world. I want to make people feel better. And I had that extreme strong focus. And then these fairies came along and they're laughing and la la la. And I wrote a lot of chapters that were helpful to people that didn't make it in the book. But in the end, this book ended about me making fun of me, of the dark things I went through, but then to the channeling and the successes and the money and the popularity and the success of selling and making workshops and everything. So the book ended up being you can't call it exactly a memoir, but it had a beginning and an end, and it sort of said, life can be hard, we can be depressed, we can be humans, we can have sex with married men, which is very, very, very bad thing. You don't want to do it, but it's like, you can be drug, sex, and rock and roll, but the fairies are here and we are higher powered. So what happened here was, when I got in the right space, because you want to be in the right space as a writer, I would start hearing a fully formed sentence and it wouldn't leave me. And then I trusted that sentence. And then I sat down, I wrote that sentence, and then a whole chapter would come. The chapters were relatively short. And then that's how I found how I worked as an artist, as an author, was following that stream. And if the stream didn't feel good or pure, then you don't write. Otherwise, that's your emo writing and it fits in a different category.
This is brilliant. So you're very clairaudient and clairvoyant. You see
Yeah.
spiritually and you hear spiritually, messages, sentences, text, words, but you also get visions, right? So I really have to get that book. And if I tell my husband that, he'll laugh at me because I have so many books. But I just love books. I actually live in a library. So, but that was an amazing, amazing answer. You really took me far. So you sit down and you receive. Is that right?
I think that I heard many writers say this. I think, and it goes two ways with writing and with channeling. When you put aside the time and you say Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m., I'm going to sit down and do this, then your psychology is organized, your energy is organized, and your guides are organized. So I've heard writers do this successfully, and I have heard channels do it successfully because you're literally creating a meeting and you're creating time for yourself. This is about honoring yourself. So then things come in alignment. I forgot what your question was.
It doesn't matter. So why do you do your art? Is it to share? What are you sharing?
Well,
Just go with it.
well, I have to do the art because I have to do it. There have been times when I was more sweet, naive, and young, and you're saying, I want to be a famous channel. I want to be a famous author. I want to be a famous something. I think I gave up on that. It happened. I did it. I did it. It lasted a few years. I was famous on Facebook. I had 17,000 people on a group. I would post something. This was way back then in 2014. I would post one thing and 10,000 people would see it. So I reached some form of fame. I reached fame, but fame is fickle. And what you notice is in celebrities, if they keep doing stupid things to then keep the fame going. So I think I sort of got disenchanted with the concept of fame. And I went back to what am I doing? And what I'm doing is I'm a fairy. I'm not just a human. I'm multidimensional. I can't stand being working in an office and be just a sister and a human. I am more. And so the way of being more is I channel and I do these things. And as I channel them and they become magical, then I see evidence of being magical. So I have to do it for me. But as artists and even as humans, I think we're exhibitionists. So we want to show, we want to be witnessed. But again, with that book, I had to do it. And with the oracle cards too, they just had to be done. And I think that thing about being a channel and being an artist is you have to do it. And then I think you give up and I think you or surrender, and it's none of your business how the rest of the world receives it, because they'll say you're good, you're bad, you're ugly, you're talented, you'll put you on the pedestal, then they'll shove the pedestal away, and it's just like, so you just do things and you believe in them. And then one last thing, maybe I can bring this forward, is I do things, and this is me specifically. So I do things, and this is the dragon deck. I do them because I have to do them. But in this case, and these ones too, I do it because not only do I want to share with humans and say, hey, dragons exist, but I also want to say, hey, dragons, I love you. I see you. Let me be a conduit and let me go both ways. So then we get to another point where I feel I am of service. I am an ambassador to humans and say, hey, dudes, we're multidimensional. We have all this stuff around us. And then I'm an ambassador to the dragons and saying, I'm a fairy. I'm one of you guys. And we have been sabotaged and distorted on earth, and let's bring some of your magic there. So in my case, it's also a two-way street. Like you've got to do it.
Wow. That's amazing too. I love your answers. So you do your art for yourself and for others. So you have a element of service to it. but there's a creative urge within artists. And I think within all people, they create in different ways. So, but you're specifically doing painting or drawing, and then printing out these artworks and writing. Okay, I have another question. Why is soul art, creativity, expression important for the new human? And what is this new human?
So the new human is maybe people like the words Atlantis, Lemuria, ancient civilizations, past saints, ascended masters. Maybe those are words that a lot of us have been using, but the new human is an ancient human. For example, the Neanderthals, were they really that dumb, or were they super telepathic? You know what I mean? Huh. So what do we know about ancient humans? And then here, hello, I'm in an ancient Roman site right here. And archaeologists say, oh, these were ancient Romans. But when I go there and I see the symbols and the words of the gods and goddesses, I say, oh, well, this was ancient Etruscan. It was before. So when I think about the new human, I think about the ancient human and the lies that were told about ancient humanity. So I'm thinking about the identity of who we are as humans. And so the identity is, and I know we feel this, especially star seeds, that we are, it feels like I'm more than just a boring person that's just walking the street that talks to barely anyone because I'm a hermit, and I'm more than just a sister. So it's the art, and you can be a musician, a writer, but I'm obviously more into the visual arts, but it's through the art where I feel the evidence, because I feel the electricity. I see these beings and it's reflected back to me. And I'm like, I am a fairy. I mean, I knew I was a fairy when I was having dreams that I was a fairy. I was a little kid, and those dreams were more real than real life. And so this soul art for me for now is the evidence that I am more than what we are told a human is. So I love doing my art, but I also love seeing channeled art by the right frequency and the right people. Like there's Diana Cooper that does her stuff. She's got her artist Carla Morrow. There's other people. We love Kevin Humphrey and the things that he does. So there's different people. So I remember when 20 years ago, when fairy art wasn't out there, and there was this one artist, Sisley Mary Barker, and she did fairies. And and then we have also Brian Froud. And I would see their art and I would get triggered saying, those are real beings. I am them. We are part of that. I'm missing animism. So for me, this soul expression art that I'm doing, or that I get to see others doing, but it's selected, for me, that is triggering the lights, triggering the frequencies of this us being multidimensional. And it's evidence for me. I think we need some evidence, which is why we need to do the art, the physical art, not just the meditating of saying I've seen a unicorn, which is also very real, but then when I draw it, it's even more real.
Alessandra, you're a genius. You explain it so beautifully. Well, thank you so much. So, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss or talk about?
Absolutely. I wanted to do a few more show and tells, and then I have sound equipment here so I can show. So for artists, it's funny because I don't feel just like a visual artist or just like a writer, but there's this, these are the plasma pillars. So I work a ton with crystals. So I did not make this plasma pillar, but it came to me, and you can buy them in many places, but I do charge these up. But it had to come with a code. I bought a plastic coaster. So this is the coaster for you to put a glass on, but I put layered of symbols and colors so that then it goes together like a lock and key. So as a shaman, I creating or these tools come to me of how to work with light and crystals. So, but that's something else I have to do because I'm always holding crystals. Another thing that I'm doing now, and this is not to talk about me, but to talk about how much fun we can have as inner children artists. This is not complete, so don't laugh at it, but I'm making a Valkyrie doll. Or she's elf. I don't know if these are ears or if these are the wings of the Valkyrie. And it's wire and kneaded felt. And so I want to bring in these Valkyries that are coming from different places like Arcturus, Antares, and they're here to help restore balance to the world. So I have that. I gotta hide it from my cats. So I just wanted to show all these things and to start receiving an energy transmission, because I had just a few more things I wanted to share with you. Energy transmission and the sound of it. I'm obsessed with crystals, so let me bring in a beautiful frequency here. This is a crystal skull, should be made of melted quartz, and it has aura treatment over it. And to me, this is what we are becoming or doing. Because, for example, if we have a chakra that's open at level 3, this is level 4, and this we have open at level 7 and lower down level 2, it's all in disharmony. But when we work with raising our frequency and we have 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, then there is no longer the distortions, but it's all in alignment, coherence. And so it's no longer divided, it's all one. So when I see all one, I see nothingness inside. There is no structure, there's no obstruction, it's this. So I see us as this is the new human. So this is the transmission that I'm bringing in. And this is connected to this frequency, also melted quartz that can transmit. At this point, I'm also believing in we as humans need more energy and more stamina. We're not getting it as much from each other as humans because we're stressed, or family. We're not getting it from the food. We're not getting it from the earth. So we need to find ways of get energy from nature or from crystals or from roses, because roses and flowers transmit. So this is a receive, 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 how we are multidimensional galactic human. And now, since I don't have enough hands, now I'll start transmitting. I wanted to hold it all up, hold the crystal here, but I have, so what is this? I'm going to do a transmission with sound. You can put the sound for healers on, sound. This is for all of us, because I think the biggest thing or the biggest challenge is to get over our own tensions or obstructions and to find that higher stream to create good quality material art channeling that we want to be doing. So the sound that I will be doing now is to help with all of that. We have a water nymph that is very sweet and very shy, coming from the waters of the lake. I essentially live on a super volcano, which means it's very big. It encompasses 13 little villages and 2 lakes, and I'm right by one of the lakes. So this very shy nymph is bringing us flow. Inamat ayalat etiolo nananay nanay. Onaka inana enana ilala koshinanay. Murinaka ilala sayela nakarananayo. Mukin taramanay tarasaranay nanay. Shuanteranay. Sumpete ikarete sonum tara erenenei. This is more a goddess of the space. She's different from a nymph. She is more embodied. She is more earthy. She's not just water. She is more. She's more of a Medusa energy. Medusa known in her full form as an Amazonian priestess, full and intact. And then the energy that's coming through is saying, get it together, shake it all off, create your boundaries. Ayamatae serena hanana kaera nanao. Enetere tere nono ke nike shin ak alile dalaye nanehene. Coming from North Africa, there was many queens and priestesses of deep power. Ot en no kono no konanai senenai. Pus unayat now. And to complete, we have the crystal harp that might have a little surprise for us. These are galactic fairies that are happy and comfortable to be in our air, in our space, and all around us, even inside us and in ourselves. Bringing in the spark. This represents the spark. Spark of inspiration, holding on to that spark, keeping the spark pure and clear. So may we absorb these gifts, may we retain them, digest them, multiply them, make this sustainable. May we access this higher frequency even when we are low, and it just might be accessed in different ways. As humans, we have such a variety of our highs and our lows. And when we're really low, we may not be able to listen to that. But there is a different version of that that is being sent to us now.
Thank you for that. That was gorgeous. I particularly liked at the end the crystal harp. I have to get one. I have crystal bowls and I have other things, other instruments, but not a crystal harp. And it's been playing on my mind for quite some time. Alessandra, that was just fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm glad to know that you are a fairy. And can I talk about your free gift now? So, Alessandra will channel the galactic unicorns to assist us in expressing our soul's purpose on Saturday, June 14th at 3 p.m. Rome, Italy, CET time. You can sign up for the free summit. There will be a link below this video. I am just so pleased that we got together and talked. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I thought I was just going to say a few words about the free gift. So, first of all, it's exciting when we all meet together in time and space, even if it's on Zoom. We're energetically together. If you can't make it, there's the replay. It's available to you. So, everything's free if we're on this summit. What is it about? Well, the unicorns have been coming in and they're very big. There's different kinds of unicorns. There's been Diana Cooper, who wrote at least 2 unicorn books, and I think she has 2 unicorn sets, oracle cards. What I'm bringing in is different, meaning what's coming in is different. Diana Cooper has a service to Earth, Earth unicorns, and Earth Atlantis, but the unicorns that are coming in now that will be at this event are new. new energy, new information, new, because I think it was Einstein that says you got to get out of the problem that you're in with a new mentality, and that's the trick that we have. And so that's we have the antidote. We got these unicorns that are coming in, and they have been obsessively coming to me in dreams. Then I see them. Unicorns were coming to me nonstop, almost harassing me, coming in, do you say droves? Legions and legions of unicorns were coming, and they were popping out of standing stones. And that was 2018. And then they showed me a red dot on a map, and that was in Orkney Islands, Scotland. I went there and I stopped having those dreams, and then I met some energetic unicorns. A few years later, I had to go to Malta, which was funny because I really wanted to go back to the Orkney Islands, but Malta in Italy is closer. So I went there, and I went to the small island of Gozo, and it's called the Gigantia. So that's the island of the giant priestess or goddess. And it has large scale temples, and they have the same design temples, but smaller scale on the main island of Malta. So something's going on there. Well, surprise, it makes sense if I say it now. When I went to Gigantia, giant unicorns came in, huge unicorns, and they are big. So I see different kinds of unicorns. I see very masculine ones and big ones. I see very, very dainty ones that are more Japanese Chinese, because they have their own unicorn, but they call it a kirin, and it's a chimera. It is part goat, part lion, part deer, very little horse energy in it. And so I'm drawing those and I'm bringing them in. So I'm saying all of this because what is the point of the unicorns coming now? Well, the Japanese mythology is that when we are entering an era of justice, of a just society and a just emperor, I'm quoting them and then it needs to be interpreted, then the unicorns come because they are protectors and guardians of purity. So it's almost like they're the guardians of the round table that are doing the right things for the damsels. And the damsels at this point is the masses of humanity. So this whole unicorn frequency that I will be bringing in and channeling, which is legions and legions coming in from outside of Earth, outside of our galaxy, through an Aldebaran stargate. I mean, we need stories and myths, and for me, they're real, but these are stories and myths. This is to help give us the energy, give us the stamina to find our soul stream, and to help us be more accurate artists so that we don't accidentally do that emo art thing that has its time and place. So that is what we're doing at the event.
Fantastic. That sounds really cool. Well, my dear friend, my soul sister, we've come to the end. And I really, really love what we've done. I appreciate it and all the answers that you've given and the stories in the background to understand your process, to understand your way. And I look forward to getting with you on the 14th of June after the summit is over.
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you for doing this. And you're bringing together such a richness and diversity. It's gonna be a huge impact to us as we're receiving this. Very rich.
I hope so. I really do hope so. Okay, ciao.
Ciao. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye
Ciao.
bye.